Welcome to today's show. I am your host, Eric Donnelly Small, and I'm going to do a quick one today because there's something in the news that I find absolutely fascinating. But as always, if you guys like what you see here, you can please consider liking and subscribing and click that bell to be notified of new content. I put up content fairly regularly now, so that's been really good for me. In addition, I'm going to provide links to all of the stories that I'm talking about here on my Mastodon page at mastodon.vtip.me/@ what you missed. And I encourage you to go there to take a look at the full story so that you can read it. And in addition, to reach out to the show if you want to share your own links and your own stories, something that I don't pay attention to the YouTube comments as much, although I've seen some of your content comments and I've responded. So Mastodon is a good place for that if you want more in-depth conversation with me. And in addition, I'm now on TikTok. So I'm doing videos now pretty regularly on TikTok. I put up at least 2 this week. TikTok.com/@ Eric D. Small. And those will be smaller videos for those of you who can't take longer videos like the ones that I produce. So, interesting thing out of the news this week, and I believe it's beginning to shape what I think is the part of the end goal here. And sort of just to not bury the lead, I believe that the end goal here is to make people totally dependent on Donald Trump. But they're using people's ignorance as well as their desperation to do it. And let me tell you what I mean, because this is a story, this is out of Yahoo, but I've seen it elsewhere. And this is Yahoo News, and Trump is floating giving DOGE savings to the public, defending the cost cuts. And this was something that was first floated by Elon Musk. So, two interesting things about this is, number one is we're beginning to see who the brains behind this operation is. Donald Trump could never have thought this up. Elon Musk is thinking this up. He's the brains behind this. And why that's important, and it's one of the reasons why I want to go into another video. Probably my next video is going to be a little bit more of a history on South Africa. And particularly some of the news that is going on about Elon Musk has filled Donald Trump's mind with this idea that white South Africans are being basically put in an apartheid state and are having their property taken away from them, much like what happened in America during Jim Crow era. And of course, it is feeding into a racist mindset of white genocide and of this notion that anything you give to blacks, whites are going to suffer. And the overall narrative that anytime government tries to help African Americans or tries to deal with racism, they make the situation worse. That has been a narrative that has been a conservative narrative, Republican narrative, and it definitely is a racist narrative to prevent government from helping blacks. My father always believed, and I tend to as well, that government is the only entity that can help deal with racism and attack racism. No other entity can do it. Business can't do it. The people can't do it. It has to be the government, because the government is the ultimate power, and it is the power that created racism and keeps it alive and well. So, this story, however, plays on that grievance aspect, but what it depends on is what I believe is the end goal here. And the sort of trick is that they're relying on people not realizing how much government is doing for them and how much the cost of actual things are. They think the cost of eggs are bad. Just wait until you look at medical bills. So as one hand taketh away, as one hand giveth, the other hand taketh away. And the trick here is to remain ignorant, is to have the population, most people remain ignorant and be willing to take crumbs as full meal is being taken away from them. So what Donald Trump and Elon Musk are doing is they're cutting programs from Medicare to Medicaid, and eventually they're going to get to Social Security, because you can't make the kind of cuts that Elon Musk wants to make and that the conservatives want to make without going after those entitlement programs. We don't really know, and people don't really understand how much medical bills cost, how much cost of living is for Social Security if you're not a senior citizen. how much food really costs, how much all of these things will cost you without those programs. And what Donald Trump is doing and Elon Musk is doing somewhat diabolically, I would say brilliantly, but it is diabolical, is they're giving away, or they're talking about throwing out so-called big numbers like $5,000. They don't say whether it's a year or a month. I think it's a year, but I'm going to read this article. They want to start saying, you guys can start reaping some of the benefits, get some of the savings as we cut away at this deep state, at this bloated, wasteful system. And we'll start giving you a percentage of the cuts in order to help you out so that you're getting more of your money is coming back to you, right? So this is what it says. This one, I think this is reporting from Bloomberg, and it says President Donald Trump suggested that some savings from his federal cost-cutting efforts overseen by billionaire Elon Musk could be sent back to U.S. taxpayers, with another portion being used to reduce the deficit. Now, that was never a part of the plan. So look at how they're revising the plan as we go along, right? So here goes. There's even consideration, this is a quote from Trump, there's even consideration, a new concept where we give 20% of the DOGE savings to American citizens and 20% goes to pay down the debt because the numbers are incredible, Trump said, referring to his Department of Government Efficiency efforts during an address Wednesday at an investment summit backed by the Saudi Arabia Sovereign Wealth Fund. Now, let me just go into for a moment the truth of the matter. And anyone who has looked at it and has paid attention to this knows that DOGE is not finding anything that is waste, fraud, or abuse. What they're finding are programs that they don't like. USAID, for instance. Program that Elon Musk, for whatever reason, doesn't like. Money going to states with programs that they don't like, environmental programs, etc. So they're not finding waste, fraud, and abuse, which they were supposed to find. They're finding programs that they don't like, DEI, programs that are going to blacks and whatnot. This is why that's important. The whole South Africa aspect of this is important for Musk. But it goes on. Trump's idea has been floated previously by Musk, who was in attendance for the address. Musk responded this week to a post on his social media platform X suggesting that Trump announced a DOGE dividend with a $5,000 tax refund check sent to taxpayers' households, saying that he would check with the president. The remarks are the latest sign that Trump is working to justify his DOGE efforts, which sent shockwaves through Washington as Musk moves to slash the federal government's spending and workforce, invite legal challenges and questions over the efforts, authority, and powers. Critics have argued that the slash and burn style of canceled contracts and worker layoffs risk crippling critical government services while doing little to deliver long-term taxpayer savings. And Trump and Musk have repeatedly overstated the amount of realized taxpayer savings, casting doubts on whether ambitious goals to significantly slash spending could be met. So they're lying. That's a pretty long-winded conversation, or long-winded part of this article to say that they're lying. But why are they doing this? Because you need to begin to justify the pain that is coming. And again, there is an aspect of this that is self-centered among Americans. You've got this idea that there's all this waste, fraud, and abuse. And in the mind of some voters, that waste, fraud, and abuse is benefits going to people that they don't believe deserve it, right? It's not that the benefits are wasteful or fraudulent. It's that they're going to people who you don't think deserve it. I did a whole article about that in the Washington Post, an article where Trump supporters in Pennsylvania, state region that had gone for the last however many years, 40, 50 years, Democrat, flipped to a Republican for the first time. And talking to these guys, it's one of the poorest places on earth, in America, I should say. And talking to one guy who gets a disability payment, was saying he trusted Donald Trump because he believes that other people are getting disability payments who don't deserve it. He's getting his disability payment. He deserves it. But all these other people and all of these other workers that are working there, they're doing it and they're getting paid and they don't deserve it. He deserves it, but they don't, right? So there is this cynical attempt to tap into the own greedy, sort of self-centered, sort of hatred of your fellow man that Trump is tapping into. And it's cynical, but it will work for some voters. Because $5,000 is a lot of money, particularly if you're somebody who's struggling, and they're going to love being able to see a $5,000 check. Doesn't say whether it's every month or every year. If it's every month, that's something different. But every year, forget about it. But what you lose in exchange is going to be quite significant indeed for a lot of Americans. Thank you for joining me on this episode. You will see me on the next one. Take care. Hey there, fantastic viewers. Eric Darnley Small here, and I hope you're loving today's episode of What You Missed. You've reached the end of today's show, but don't worry, there's more show coming up. If you're watching this on YouTube, please click the bell so that you'll be notified when more content is available. You can also help the channel by clicking the like and subscribe buttons. It helps the YouTube algorithm find new viewers so that I can keep bringing you all this incredible content you enjoy. But wait, there are more ways to support the show. You can make a contribution through the show's PayPal, which goes a long way in helping produce even better content for you. And consider becoming a part of our growing community by joining our Mastodon site at mastodon.vtip.me/@whatyoumissed for more engaging discussions and exclusive updates. And here's something you won't want to miss. Mark your calendars for our live show streaming on YouTube and stream.vtip.me Monday mornings, 10:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Your support means the world to me, and together we're making What You Missed the best it can be. Thanks for being a part of my journey.